Hey, welcome everybody. Good evening. Thank you for spending your Monday night with Patch Like a Champion. We get chills every time we watch that Rudy clip. I know some of you do too, and I get a lot of compliments on it, but I am just thrilled. I was sitting here just kind of meditating a little bit on what we have our hands on, and the fact that I get to do this on Monday nights, I have to pinch myself. This is such a joy that I get to come into your computer screen or your mobile device and talk about this amazing little technology that we're going to spend some time talking about today. My name is Joe Fazio. I'm broadcasting live from Orlando, Florida. I am a graduate of Notre Dame's Business School, and I also had the honor and blessing to play 4 years for the Fighting Irish. Thus, the theme, Patch Like a Champion today. When the team runs down out of the locker room to the field, they tap that sign, play like a champion today. So for purposes of X39, we are all patching like champions today. So I just want to welcome you. We're going to talk a little bit about stem cells. We're going to talk about sports. We're going to talk about testimonials. We've got some amazing former football players on tonight. My guests, Mike McCoy and Jim Scythe. Incredible testimonials. What this little stem cell reactivation patch is doing to these guys who were on the battlefield. They're beaten up, they're bumps and bruises and chronic issues, and guess what? It's all clearing up, and that's just a major blessing. We're going to talk a little bit about business on the end of this segment too, because I was not looking for a side revenue, but my goodness, this has turned into a very unique opportunity, and we're going to get into that here. Let me just go ahead and share my screen, and I will start the PowerPoint. But before I do that, for those of you who are new on the call, we love to send you to our website, which is thisisitinfo.com. So if you go there after you listen to tonight's program, go to thisisitinfo.com and scroll down. You've got a great video here, you've got an even better video here, and you have a fantastic video here. And then if you scroll down a little bit further, this is Dr. Leland Stillman. That right there is worth the price of admission. Listening to this young doctor who uses red light therapy in his office, and he's saying that this little guy is even better. And then spend some time here with the patent, the PubMed articles, the story of X39, and then click on the case studies. This is the first time I'm taking my audience through this, but I think it's very important. Double-blind studies about X39. Study A and Study B talks all about phototherapy, which we're going to get into the science behind this tonight. And then if you take it all the way down, we're going to talk a little bit about sports. The reason I'm going all the way down here is because we have just recently brought on some world-class athletes, and I want to take you to this section, which is called U.S. Anti-Doping and World Anti-Doping, because when we bring on an athlete, someone who's participating right now in sports, the first question out of their mouth is it legal? Is it doping? And the answer is no. So I'm bringing up on my screen a letter from the United States Anti-Doping Agency, and basically this summarizes the fact that they thought Stanford was cheating and putting chemicals in their body to increase their performance. They did a long study, it went to court, and they determined that there is nothing in these patches that is proved to be illegal. So I think that's important to share that with you. I'm going to go to my PowerPoint now, and my teammates, my partners in business, Rich Tillman here, one of the top linebackers to ever come out of Notre Dame. And, of course, one of my special guests is going to be Mike McCoy tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in presentation mode, and we will go ahead and get started. Again, thank you for joining us tonight. I am super proud and pleased to let you know that this number just went up today. We were at 57 yesterday. We enrolled a former Notre Dame player, so now we're at 58. That's really cool. 58 former Notre Dame athletes personnel. There's a couple of trainers. There's a track star wearing the patches. Today we enrolled former 11-year offensive lineman for the Kansas City Chiefs. His name is Tim Grunhard. He is a former Notre Dame standout for Lou Holtz. And last week we enrolled one of the top defensive tackles for the Chicago Bears. His name is Chris Zorich. Both of these guys came out of Notre Dame about the same time, and they had the distinct honor of playing for the great, legendary coach Lou Holtz. So Irish Nation is growing, and we could not be more thrilled at that. Let me give you the disclaimer. We make no claims that this product is going to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease or medical condition. Always consult your physician. Interestingly, when you do consult your physician, once they learn that this is non-transdermal, in other words, no chemicals or stimulants are penetrating the skin, they typically give their blessing on that. There is a massive, massive movement into the Lifewave patches, and why is that? Because photobiomodulation, which we're going to discuss, is proven to regenerate and strengthen your cells and your body. Guys, the cream of the crop in athletes are wearing this technology. Michael Phelps has more Olympic gold medals than maybe anybody in history. Ronnie Coleman is an 8-time Mr. Olympia. I mean, his muscles have muscles on them. Alan Webb is the high school world record holder in the mile. Lots of NFL players, current and former. We know that Mike Tyson wore the patch. We also know that RFK Jr. is wearing the patch. So if the Minister of Health is wearing the patch, that would make me curious as to what's going on with this technology. Here's our inventor and our CEO, David Schmidt. My goodness, he's got 200 patents. Do you know how difficult it is to get one patent? So he is a brilliant scientist. He's a man of God. He's an inventor, specializes in age reversing. He did get his start with the Energy Enhancer patch, and he does business with the U.S. Navy. The SEALs wear the Energy Enhancer patch so that they don't have to take caffeine uppers or amphetamines. In 2008, he focused his attention on stem cell research. Took him about 10 years, $4.5 million in the laboratory to bring X39 to the marketplace. That is the star of the show. That represents about 96% of the company's volume. Guys, we're going to be $1 billion company this year, and that is super, super exciting. So, real quickly, the Energy Enhancer patch is being used by a lot of competitors right now. We know that Stanford University is using it. David was friends with Richard Quick, who's now passed, but he was the coach of the swimming team on Stanford many, many years ago. Interestingly enough, we learned by looking at the Notre Dame football graphic on NBC Sports last fall, while the Olympics had just finished up, that Stanford put 59 athletes on the most recent Summer Olympics. That's extraordinary. It's more Olympians than any other college or university in the world. Now, we just recently enrolled a track star, and she asked me, why is this product not mainstream? And I said to her, if you had a competitive advantage and you were wearing a patch that's going to give you more energy, you probably wouldn't tell your competitors either. So that's probably the reason that I can think of why this is not mainstream, but it's going to be. Mark my words, the secret is getting out. The FDA has registered Lifewave Energy Enhancer patch as a Class 1 medical device. Look at what it's doing. Troy State University did a strength and conditioning test. 25 football players were broken into 3 different groups: a control group, a test group, and a placebo group. The gentlemen that had the patch on their body, ladies and gentlemen, increased their bench press by 43% as far as repetitions. We had one of the guys on who was in this test last week. He was our guest testimonial speaker. Without the patch, he was doing about 35 or 36 repetitions of a 225-pound bench press. The next day, he put the patches on his body for 10 minutes, and he did about 48 repetitions. Guys, that is an extraordinary increase in strength just from wearing a phototherapy patch. So Coach Shaughnessy gave us some information. He said it's not an increase in strength compared to the chemicals like anabolic steroids. When I was playing football in the 80s, a lot of my teammates, a lot of competitors were using anabolic steroids. It made them very, very bulky and puffy, and unfortunately it also made them sick later on in life. So I don't think it was a very good investment. But these LifeWave patches are very safe. They simply use photobiomodulation to create a series of electrical reactions, you would say, in the mitochondria of the cells. If you remember 6th grade biology, the word mitochondria, that's the powerhouse of your cells. That's where the food is turned into energy for all of your cells. So that's what's going on. And the athletes are continue to exceed their personal best in speed, strength, and stamina by wearing the X39 patches. So I like to deal in facts. I don't like to deal in BS or beat around the bush. Let's talk about the facts. You can have 100 problems in life until you have a health problem. Then it becomes your only problem. Suddenly, the things that used to stress you, money, relationships, deadlines, feel so insignificant. Without your health, even the best things in life lose their meaning. So health isn't just a small part of your life. It's absolutely everything. More facts. Hope you would agree that the pharmaceutical industry does not create cures. No. They want you as a lifetime customer. So we don't believe that there is a pharmaceutical drug in existence that's going to solve the chronic disease epidemic. We keep adding pills, but we're not getting to the core of what's causing the disease. I see everybody's head shaking. Yes, I agree, Joe. I think the biggest obstacle keeping Americans from living healthy lives is a lack of motivation to make changes. Let's face it, if your doctor said you got to start training for a marathon or you need to eat salad for every meal, you're probably going to not do that. We're very, very lazy as a culture. But guess what? Putting a Band-Aid on your body, it's the easiest thing you can do. Anybody can do that. And watch what happens after you start wearing X39. Check this out, the New England Journal of Medicine, probably the most reputable journal of medicine in existence. They state that the number one indicator of wellness is directly correlated with the number of stem cells in the bloodstream. When I saw that statement about a year ago, I thought to myself, okay, aside from a transfusion or a stem cell injection, how do you increase stem cells in the bloodstream? Well, it's a simple answer. What I didn't realize when Carl Firestone told me about this technology 2 years ago is that by the age of 30, half of your stem cells are no longer active. And at the age of 60, you lose just about all of your stem cell activity. So the fewer stem cells you have, the faster you're going to age and the slower you're going to heal. You know, that's why, look at this, at age 30, only half your stem cells are active. That's why most NFL players retire right around 29 or 30. And it makes sense now because they're going for the younger players who have a lot more active stem cells. It just makes so much sense. I want to introduce you to this Dr. Laurent Picard. He is the father of research on this particular human copper peptide called GHK. And he realized, studying this copper peptide, that this GHK-Cu returns the genes to a younger, healthier state. If you Google Dr. Laurent Picard, GHK-Cu, you could read for days and days about this amazing human peptide. It's a copper-bound tripeptide made up of glycine, histidine, and lysine. Look at all the wonderful things it does to help and aid the human body. It protects the liver, the heart, produces blood cells, nerve cells, supports bone health, and improves the immune system. Look at all the wonderful things it prevents against in the body. Breathing issues, seizures, weak immune system, poor cognition. We're going to talk about that a little bit down the road here as far as neurodegeneration, memory loss, bone loss, protein energy deficiency, anemia, and the list goes on what this copper-bound tripeptide, when it's elevated, can do for the condition of your body. So We're going to talk a little bit about the science. The X39 light technology patch is made up of organic crystals, amino acids, salts, water, oxygen, and it forms a perfect lattice structure. So on the inside of the patch, there is a crystal lattice structure, and that is a reflector of light. It's like a sophisticated mirror. Whose light is it reflecting? Well, your own light. Our bodies radiate a low-grade infrared light on the inside of our body. I explain this to people all the time, and they say, do I need the sun to activate it? The answer is no. An Eskimo in Alaska can wear this patch with great success, even if they have a big parka on them, because it's utilizing your body's internal light. And we call this process photobiomodulation. When it reflects off the patch back into the tissue, elevates that GHK copper peptide and regenerates your cells. Old cells turning young again. Not only does it make embryonic stem cells, but it makes pluripotent stem cells. Pluripotent just means your body knows exactly what your body needs the most, so it's going to go to that area of the body first. So again, God designed our bodies with low-level infrared light and heat on the inside. You know that if you put night vision goggles on, you could see a human body in the pitch black of night. I love this quote from Genesis 1:3. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Did you know he was also talking about on the inside of your body, not just in the atmosphere? So it's such a cool product. The more you study it, the more you're going to be enamored with it. Lifewave is unique because it's the only phototherapy product in the world that uses the human body as its own power source. Brilliant, brilliant technology. So here's the patent. This is what gave me the confidence to say yes after telling Carl no 3 times over a period of 6 months or so. But when I saw the patent, I knew that Lifewave was onto something very significant. And it reads, I draw people's attention to the abstract, wearable phototherapy apparatus that produces activation of stem cells. Guys, this is a government document, and it's saying that this is a phototherapy apparatus that produces activation of stem cells. Pain relief in a non-transdermal container increases copper peptide GHK in a subject's body. There it is right there in the U.S. patent. You're welcome to look it up, Google X39 Lifewave U.S. patent, and you will see this patent that I just read. So how does it work? Well, we talked about the nanocrystal technology. It reflects light to activate. It is non-transdermal. It's not like a nicotine patch that seeps medicine into your skin. This is totally sealed. There are no stimulants, no chemicals, no nutrition is going into your body. It's non-transdermal and it's non-invasive. So I got to credit my partner Rich Tillman, former Notre Dame football player. He coined this phrase, and I absolutely love it. X39 is like, I'm not going to say it is, but it's like healing without pharmaceuticals instead of pharmaceuticals without healing. And the reason I love this is because I have some friends who are getting up there in age, and they said, Joe, I've been on the same dang prescription drug for 25 years, and it's not doing a thing. That just proves that Big Pharma wants you as a lifetime customer. They have no intention of helping cure you. That is not their intention at all. So how do you wear it? Very simple. You wear the patch 12 hours on during the day because it's going to give you a non-jittery form of energy and clarity throughout the day. And then at nighttime, I take it off. When I'm brushing my teeth, getting ready to settle down for the evening, I take it off and I throw it away. I let my body rest and rejuvenate during sleep. Tomorrow morning, I will put a fresh patch on. That is why there are 30 individual patches in a sleeve. We call it a sleeve of X39, okay? So tomorrow I'm going to put a fresh patch on, and I'm just going to repeat that process. I've been doing that for almost 2 years. The benefits that I've experienced in my body are nothing short of miraculous. I had debilitating pinching sensation down my back, all the way down my glute to the back of my knee. I would have to see a chiropractor literally every 6 to 8 weeks. Guys, I haven't been to a chiropractor in 2 years. He probably thinks that I changed chiropractors, but that's not the case. I simply don't need his services anymore. I have zero inflammation nor pain in my body, and I'm praising the Lord every single day for that. Drink plenty of water. Guys, we are chronically dehydrated. That is one of the main causes of dis-ease in your body, is because we are dehydrated. And it's not just a matter of gulping a lot of water. The goal is to get it to flood your cells. And the way you do that is to include a good non-sugar electrolyte into your water. That's going to help it penetrate the cells. Interestingly, Lifewave is about to launch its own form, its own brand. It's called Cellergize, and it is a wonderful electrolyte powder. David Schmidt handpicked each one of the ingredients on this electrolyte powder because it's proven to activate stem cell activity. So David Schmidt also recommends wearing this patch for a minimum of 1 month for every decade of your age. So the patch is about $3.37 a day. If you do the math, you're going to spend about $100 per month per person. Way, way better than long-term pharmaceutical drugs and or surgery. But guys, if you only have the budget to wear this a couple, 3 weeks, then just hold off. Because one thing that drives us crazy, the inventor says wear it a minimum of 1 month for every decade of your age. So if I'm 60, I'm going to give it a good 6 months. But if somebody quits in 2 to 3 weeks because they didn't see a benefit, that's very sad and unfortunate. Your benefit is coming. Everybody's body is going to respond in a different fashion and time, if that makes sense. Long-term results. In the first few days, 4,000 genes are going to reset. That's pretty cool because it's 1/3 of your genome. It's kind of like rebooting a computer that's working slowly or not responsive. You're rebooting your body by putting this patch on it. Within 6 weeks, your brain is going to become balanced. No more Post-it notes to jog your memory. You're going to walk into a room and remember why you walked into that room. I have total brain clarity right now. I do a lot of presentations for my full-time work, and I need to be on my A game, and this patch has helped me tremendously. Within 3 months, your collagen is going to increase. Guys, collagen is a major, major part of your body that holds all the joints and bones together. It's the shock absorber of your system. And what's really cool is your own collagen level is going to increase. You're not going to have to supplement it with something else, someone else, some other animal's collagen. I know if you go to the whole health food store, you can buy collagen. You don't know where it came from. Could have been a chicken or a cow. So why not elevate your own collagen? And that happened for my wife because her hair stopped falling out. Her nails are no longer brittle. Her face is smoothing out. And our gums have closed up around our teeth. Truly, truly extraordinary. My vision's getting better too. Within 6 months, I think this is the most compelling phrase on this slide, your heart's going to reverse in age. We have proof of that through David, through EEGs, through EKGs, blood tests, urinalysis. His cardiologist literally told David, who's 62, that he has a heart of a 28-year-old. So he likes to say it's not anti-aging, it's literally age reversing. Here's a topography map, another test that David does in the lab to measure the effectiveness of X39. This is a 77-year-old woman, believes she's a Pilates instructor, so she's very active. And you may know people, you can resonate with this, people that have a lot of stress going on in their head, a lot of anxiety, a lot of neurodegeneration, a lot of inflammation in their brain. You can tell by the orange and the red color in session number 1. This is before she put the patch on her body. Session number 2 is just a short 21 days later. 3 weeks she put the patch on her body. Most, if not all, of the inflammation is gone. And then 6 weeks, or 3 more weeks later, she had a complete turnaround, better brain coherence. Her brain remained calm after wearing the patch for 6 weeks. Therefore, In my family, we've got a child. PTSD, anxiety, depression. His demeanor after wearing the patch is like night and day. The way he deals with people, it's been a huge blessing. If you have elderly loved ones that are struggling, maybe with memory loss, guys, this is a wonderful, wonderful product to put on their bodies. Here's our friend Dr. Joseph Peck. He's an anesthesiologist. He's been a medical doctor for 40 years. We did have the privilege of hearing him say this live and in person in Tampa a couple years ago. Dr. Peck said, I can say without a doubt that the X39 stem cell reactivation patch is the most significant medical breakthrough in my lifetime. I almost chuckle when I hear that because this little Band-Aid. He's been a doctor for 40 years, and he's saying that this is the most significant medical breakthrough in his lifetime. Very, very powerful statement. He went on to say it would be criminal not to share it with your loved ones. So we are shouting this from the rooftops because we're getting benefit after benefit after benefit, and it truly would be criminal not to share it with your loved ones. Guys, X39 is so sophisticated with the photobiomodulation, yet it's very simple to explain. The testimonials of X39 are life-changing, very, very emotional. A lot of people were tearing up last week with the testimonial, live testimonial. The best thing about X39, guys, it absolutely works. And I'm going to stop my screen right now, and I'm going to bring on my good friend Mike McCoy. Mike, if you would go ahead and unmute and show your video. Big Mike McCoy, probably one of the top defensive tackles to come out of Notre Dame. He was a first-round draft pick of the Green Bay Packers, second only to, what was it, Terry Bradshaw in 1970?
Terry Bradshaw, yeah. That bald-headed guy from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Mike, you rolled your eyes at me and you said, yeah, sure, photobiomodulation. What did this patch do to you? If you could just take a few minutes and share how you're feeling now.
Well, it's been about a year and a half I've been on the patch, and I'm 76 years old, and I played 11 years in the NFL. In the middle, we've taken a lot of these hits. I've had all my joints replaced, my hip replaced twice on the right side. When Joe contacted me, I had severe arthritis in my hands, and I had so much arthritis throughout my whole body. I was feeling terrible. My energy level was down. I was playing a little pickleball, but not much. And so I put the patch on, and the first thing that I healed was the lumps in my wrist, and the ganglion cyst was gone. It took about 5 months, though, before everything else clicked in. And after about 5 months, all of a sudden, my energy level went up. My hair is growing back. My barber said she'd never seen anything like it. I'm getting brown in my eyelids. My pain level is down about 80%. And I played pickleball this morning. I got up at 7 o'clock. I worked out, lifted some weights, and played pickleball this morning. So I'm very happy with what this patch has done. And it's also enabled me to continue what I think God has called me to do, is to reach students in Catholic schools with a message of faith, hope, and encouragement. It's an assembly setting. It's McCoy77.com. And that's giving me the energy to do that. And I actually went to Monterrey, Mexico last February. That was an incredible trip. So I'm booking for the fall and the spring. So if anybody has any commercial here to bring me into their schools, please get in touch with me. And I really couldn't do it if I wasn't wearing the X39.
Amen. Well, I was so thrilled when you called me 6 months into it and you thanked me for introducing you to this technology. So thank you very much for coming on and sharing your story. Another former teammate, Jim Scythe. Jim, if you can unmute and share your video. Mike, thank you very much for sharing your story. Jim Scythe, former Notre Dame football player, also a Marine, served in Desert Storm and Desert Shield. I love our military, Jim. So if you wouldn't mind, share a little bit about when I approached you. It's been exactly a year.
Yeah.
And what was your condition and what has happened since? Jim Scythe?
Yeah, can you see me? Can you hear me?
I sure can. Yeah, you look good,
okay.
dude.
Thanks. I feel good. When I saw Joe last May, I was dying. I was suffering from chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, combination of playing football and serving in combat, being around things that are exploding all the time. Couldn't walk. My average step count, less than 500 steps a day. and I know a lot of people like to count their steps. So CTE is like when you bash your head into something, like when you're playing football or you're around things that are blowing up. It's sort of like arthritis in the brain. And what happens is you start to develop lesions, and it just gets worse and worse over time. So something that I didn't notice 30 years ago was becoming life-threatening. And there's really no cure for CTE. And I'm not going to say the X39 is a cure for it, but I don't suffer from it at all anymore. I used to have, I couldn't work. I couldn't look at a cell phone. I couldn't look at a television, a computer screen. I couldn't do anything. I was just suffering. And I don't even know if I would have, I mean, Joe's a friend. I would have probably tried X39, but I was just so desperate. There's this prayer I listen to about miracles every day, and it talks about, one of the key ingredients for a miracle is sometimes it's just desperation. And so I started wearing X39. The first thing I noticed is I had a lot more energy. I was sleeping better. I went, over like maybe the first month, I realized I could be in front of the computer or in front of the TV, on my phone more. Just everything started getting better. Like I said, I can't say I'm completely healed, but my life, a year ago I felt like I was 100. Today I feel like I'm 30. I do 10,000 steps a day every day. I run wind sprints twice a week. And I've got 2 artificial hips, and my doctor, the orthopedic surgeon's like, we're going to replace that knee. It's so bad. I'm like, but I don't feel it. And he said, he said, you've got arthritis, for 30 years of arthritis in your right knee. I said, I don't feel it. I run, I walk, I climb stairs. But back to the CTE, it's like arthritis in the brain, and it just gets worse and worse and worse until finally the lesions in the brain just prevent your brain from working. So the other things I've noticed, have a ton of energy. My skin healing, I literally had a hole in my toe from a bone spur that kept getting bad, and it would open up, and you could see all the way into my toe, into the bone. And the doctor scheduled me for surgery. They were going to try and remove the bone spur. That was step one. If that didn't work, they were going to talk about amputating the toe, because it had been going on for like a year. And I went in for my pre-op. I got my blood test done. The doctor looked at the toe. He couldn't believe it. He's like, what's going on? And I said, well, I've been wearing these patches now for about a month, 6 weeks now. And he said, well, we're going to cancel the surgery. So he canceled all my surgeries. The blood work came back. Oh, there you go.
I thought I'd show the infamous toe.
Hopefully no one's eating, but the blood work came back from my pre-op blood work, and I noticed a couple of things that happened. My inflammation levels, that's measured by C-reactive protein. My inflammation level, C-reactive protein needs to be under 1. Mine went from above 10 to 0.2, which is very healthy. So that's inflammation. I've noticed other things on my skin. I used to have scabs and stuff on my skin all the time, stasis dermatitis in my legs, and everything is better. I mean, I feel better than I've ever felt. Well, probably since I got out of the Marine Corps. It's everything about life. It's a whole wellness thing. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say the patch cures anything. One thing I will share, I kind of geeked out on it and started doing a lot of research on, GHKCU and what it does and why it helps. And that one slide that Joe showed is really informative. If you go back and you look, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on this because I could go for hours on this, but if you go back and look, 100 years ago, the number one cause of death in the entire world, not just the U.S., was infectious diseases. Today, it is metabolic disorders, diabetes, heart disease, insulin, all basically related to insulin resistance, which also causes Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, dementia, cancer. So this is the number one killer in the world today. And if you start looking at the research on GHKCU, which is the copper bonding triple peptide that is expressed significantly from X39, it has an amazing effect on this. Something I noticed is the last thing I'm going to share, but it'll be pretty quick. There's something called autophagy. It is a state where your body heals itself. Usually the only way to reach autophagy is to fast for about 5 days. I found out my body there's tests you can do. I was reaching autophagy when I was wearing when I wear X39 in 2 days, 48 hours of fasting, and my body would go into a state of autophagy. And you can tell that by measuring ketones versus blood glucose. Also, my diabetes is gone. I'm on no medicines. But so I said, this can't be right, because we know that doesn't happen. So I didn't wear the patch for a week, and then I did a fast, and I didn't get to autophagy until day 5, which is normal. That's about what it takes. When I wear the patch, I reach autophagy in 48 hours. If you don't know what autophagy is, I'm not going to tell you, but go ahead and Google it. It is AUTOPHAGY. I'm not going to go into it, but some of the significant effects are raised levels of growth hormone, which keeps us young, raised levels of a hormone called BDNF, brain-derived neurofactor, which is what I believe has led to my improvement with my CTE, and this is just amazing. I can't wait.
It sounds like a lot of the same principles of X39 you're talking about is happening in your body. Jim,
Exactly.
while you're still there, let's talk about our teammate, because this is what you were just referencing, these white matter hyperintensities in the brain. Ladies and gentlemen, if you remember that movie Concussion about 15 years ago with Will Smith, that was about Jim and I's teammate. Here he is down here, Dave Dewerson. He just could not handle the trauma in his brain, and unfortunately he took his own life. And we believe that if X39 were available many, many years ago when Dave was here, a lot of these football players, God willing, they might still be around. So this is a big deal. Jim, thank you so much for sharing from your heart. That was wonderful. If you could go ahead and mute, I'm going to continue on, because I want to switch a little bit and talk a little bit about the opportunity. And I was not looking for a side opportunity of revenue, but goodness gracious, this is blowing me away. But listen to this. People don't have the patience to dedicate 3 years to building their own business, but they have the patience to work for someone else or some other company for 40 years. Most people dream of freedom, more time with family, travel, vacations with a purpose. That's what I want to do. I want to go on vacations with a purpose, a godly purpose. But when the opportunity comes to build that dream, even if it takes a few years, people are so hesitant. I don't quite understand that. Maybe this is the nudging you've been praying for. You can either spend the next 40 years building someone else's dream or give 3 years to your own dream. The goal isn't necessarily more money. The goal is living a healthy life on your own terms. And that's the beauty of Lifewave. Real quickly, it's a 20-year-old company. We were trucking along doing about $20 million a year for many, many years. Then came X39. We shot up to $320 million. And guys, last year we did over $600 million. I've already said this year we're going to be a billion-dollar company. This is the most exciting locomotive that's coming down the tracks. And if you're not in, goodness gracious, don't overanalyze this. Just get in and go on this ride with us. It is the fastest growing company in the world. And I don't say that lightly, because I come from corporate America. Nobody is growing at 3,000% increase over the last 5 years. No home-based business, no company, no corporation. Nobody is growing like Lifewave is growing. So it's a double-barrel blessing. You've got a fantastically patented medical device, and then you have a very, very lucrative financial opportunity if you want to take advantage of it. So if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you're going to work until you die. The reason why I love this statement is because last week my wife and I were on vacation. This is crazy. Our checking account was wealthier going away on vacation than it was before we left. So it's pretty cool. We all have residual bills. I believe you also need residual income, and Lifewave affords you that. We call this ethical capitalism. I believe you need a plan B. I was talking to someone today who was just let go by their company. You just never know. So that's why I say you need a plan B. There's no loyalty. Lifewave gives you the ability to manage your own business and to be in business with people who share your values. A 20-year-old company, superior patented product, and God-fearing leadership who want to do right by their fellow man. I believe it aligns biblically in serving other people and allowing them to improve both their health and financial situation. When we lift others up, we by default lift ourselves up. And I believe you are truly successful when you help others to be successful. I'm sure you all agree with that. So keep in mind, I saw this today from one of our brand partners and I had to use it. A side hustle isn't extra work. It's a future escape plan. And that's that plan B I was telling you about. You need a backup annuity plan, and Lifewave's going to do that for you. So if you've ever owned a traditional business or even a franchise, you know that there's high startup costs, high overhead, stress, hours away from your family, the expensive advertising and royalty fees, the payroll tax, the employee headaches if there's vehicles involved. You've got rent, insurance, utilities, maintenance, complex bookkeeping. And on top of that, you've got very, very skinny margins. Now compare that to Lifewave. Goodness, they handle everything. They handle the patents, the manufacturing, the website, the marketing. They have a professionally done training platform. Shipping guarantees you don't have to inventory anything else. Again, the product drop ships right to your brand partner or your customer. They handle the customer service. They handle returns. Guys, this is the coolest business I've ever seen. And again, coming from the business school at Notre Dame, I will put this model up against anything out there, and it will come out on top. It's passive residual income with significant compounding growth. Real quickly, here's one of the ways we get paid. This is a binary, so you're going to have an A team and a B team, a left side and a right side. And as quickly as you possibly can, think of 4 people in your life whom you love and want to do business with. Get them involved. You get 2 of those folks on your left, you get 2 of those folks on your right, and you quickly rank up to what is called manager. Then you do it again. You go get 2 more people on your left, 2 more people on your right. Simultaneously, you help the first 4 do the same thing. So I helped Rich get 2 on his left and right. I helped Ralph get 2 on his left and right. This is my sister Jennifer. I'm helping her get hers. And then this is my buddy from 2nd grade, Steve. Guys, this is people I love, and I want to help them. And I can't help but help myself when I help others. So, again, this is just one way that we get paid. This caps out at $25,000 per week. I realize that could sound a little bit overwhelming. There are people making that, $25,000 per week. But if it's your goal to earn an additional $500 a month to pay for groceries, a couple $1,000s a month, we have a system in place that can help you do that. This is a beautiful statement from Rockefeller. It says, I would rather earn 1% off of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own efforts. And he's absolutely correct. I get to spend more time with my family and leverage my activity because other people are telling two people who are telling two people. Here's how you can get involved. These are the different packages for the Lifewave opportunity. If you just want to try out the product, you can come in at the core level. You can get 3 sleeves of X39, about $300, maybe a little bit more, plus shipping and tax. Or if you're a business-minded person and you want to start earning serious commissions from the referrals, consider coming in at the advanced level. It's $535 for 6 sleeves of X39. And obviously the price per sleeve, price per patch gets a little bit better as you go up into the packages. If you're a business-minded entrepreneur and you realize we are onto something pretty special here, consider coming in at the premium level. You're going to get a break on the auto ship down here below. You'll get a reprieve of 90 days. You don't have to take delivery. Let's face it, if you're going to get into a business, you do need a lot of product. And what we like to do is come in at the premium and then bring your friends on at premium. And when they say yes to it, you have product to give to them. And then you can get that product back from them once they get their package in the mail. Again, auto ship is critical to the lifeblood of your business. My wife and I take delivery of 2 of these X39 sleeves, 1 for each of us every single month. And that is... There's no other business by which you can keep your overhead the same or flat every single month and your revenue continues to grow and grow. Here are the 2 websites, professionally done websites. ThisIsItInfo.com. It's just information only. I reviewed it at the beginning of this program. If you have a business-minded goal or want to get commissions from the referrals, spend some time with ThisIsItTeam.com and go through all of the tabs at the top. Onboarding, how do you go manager, 10-step system. You can look at all of the X39 Zoom events. There's a Zoom just like this one almost every night of the week with the exception of Sunday. So get involved. This is the most fun I've ever had in business. We get to do business with all of the lovely God-fearing people on this call that have now become my new friends, and it's just been a joy. So now's the time to make your move. If you're serious about dreaming again, if your children have goals and you want to help them get to those goals, this would be a great time to get on board with the Lifewave program. Procrastination, in my opinion, is the assassination of motivation. Please don't overthink this. Just start consuming the patches and learn as you go and watch what happens to your body. So if you want to stay with what Western medicine has dealt us, for the last couple of decades or centuries, needles, prescription drugs, surgery, it's very expensive. There are risky side effects. Or try something very uniquely patented. It's called photobiomodulation. It's non-transdermal. It's non-invasive, it's patented, safe, and very affordable, about $3 a day. I do want to bring your attention, if you've liked what you've heard tonight, we're going to have a training session on this same subject tomorrow. My dear friends Carl and Kathy and Colleen host tips and training about the Lifewave opportunity. So it's going to be at this particular Zoom enrollment right here. So if you go to Zoom, if you want to take a screenshot of that particular ID, you can jump on that call. It is tomorrow night at 7:30. And then to our friends in Atlanta, if you have friends in Atlanta, we are going to be there live and in person. We're going to do a training session about 6 p.m. But for new people, there's going to be an opportunity for X39 starting at 7:30. It's going to be in the Holly Springs area. Again, take a snapshot of this particular slide. Next Tuesday, May 6th, it's going to be Colleen and myself, Shannon Weimer, another presidential director, and then Carl and Kathy, our elite senior presidential directors. And they are our mentors and our dear friends. And actually, they're having dinner at our house 2 nights from now. So my wife Pamela and I are very, very excited. So, guys, thank you for joining us. Again, my name is Joe Fazio. You're welcome to take down my email and phone number. Big Mike McCoy, thank you for joining me, being my guest. Jim Scythe, beautiful testimonial, and thank you for that health information. Very, very valuable stuff. So I like to close by quoting a scripture. We give glory to God for this product and this opportunity. Proverbs 3:27 says, "Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due, when it is in your power to act." This X39 patch is good. It's so good that there's no coincidence. God called it Proverbs 3:27. If you add the 2 and the 7 together, you get a 9, and that equals 39. No coincidences with God.